Am I allowed to take it? Hi, everybody. I must have misunderstood the assignment. I thought it was to talk about spiritual teenagers. So mine is going to be more in the spiritual vein than in the spirity vein. Anyway, when I was a kid growing up in Unionville, which is just about 10 miles from here, I had a best friend. His name was Tommy Cathcart. And we were friends from about age 3 on. And when we were 13 years old, unfortunately, Tom's parents and one of his grandfathers were killed in a car crash. And the last time I saw my friend Tom was at this triple funeral up in Tamaqua, Pennsylvania, where his parents were originally from. The last time I talked to Tom was actually in the bedroom of his grandmother's house when he talked about watching his dad pass away in the hospital. And I know this is kind of grim, but it does have a good ending. Anyway, unfortunately, in addition to that tragedy, Tom had to go live with an uncle in Pittsburgh while his 2 sisters stayed in Tamaqua to live with the grandmother. So he lost his parents and his sisters at the same time. 35 years later, here in Westchester, my wife and I had been hosting exchange students for years. We hosted a boy from Ecuador, and he lived with us the whole year. The year that he went back to Ecuador, his parents had invited us to come down for Christmas. I remembered at that time that my childhood friend Tom Cathcart, whom I hadn't seen since we were 13, had married a girl from Ecuador, and I heard a Christmas card from time to time from him. And so when we went down to Quito, Ecuador on Christmas Eve, I had taken one of his old letters along just in case we could identify an address. On Christmas Eve morning, we're getting up, we're with our hosts in Quito, which is a city of 2 million people. And I showed the host mother this address. She didn't speak any English, but she looked at it and she didn't know where the address was. And so I just kind of gave up on that idea of trying to find him. Later that morning, we went up onto the roof of their house to get a panoramic view of Quito, which is a city of 2 million people. And while I'm standing on this rooftop, I look down to the street below, and there's a sign on the adjacent building that shares a common wall with our host family that said Cathcart's Appliances. And no sooner did I see that than this tall, bald-headed, middle-aged man comes walking out in his pajamas to pick up his newspaper. And I hollered down to him from 3 stories up, "Are you Tom Cathcart?" And he looked up at me and he said, "Yeah, who are you?" And I said, "I'm Johnny Spellman from Pennsylvania." He went nuts. He started walking around in circles like a dog chasing his tail. He was screaming at his family to come outside. They came tumbling out in their pajamas, his 3 kids and his wife. He said, "That's my childhood friend, Johnny Spellman." We went down to their house. We went inside. We got reacquainted for a few minutes. There was an old black and white photo album on the coffee table that he had gotten when his parents were killed. And we opened that up. There was a picture of Tommy and me when we were 8 years old fishing in the pond in Unionville. And we have since renewed our relationship. He's been up here. And so it had a happy ending, but it took 35 years.